So men want women with 0 to low body count, yet they expect sex after 2 dates. Let's get right into this. So I don't have any fancy like transitions or any sort of cutaways at all. I don't know how to do any of that. I just have been on YouTube and like YouTube shorts, and I just see so many videos from like men who are in the Manosphere or the red pill community. So people like Andrew Tate and the roommates and Fresh and Fit and other sort of podcasts and people and stuff like that. I've seen so many of that, so much of that content, sorry. And I'm not going to speak to everything. I don't think I'm necessarily qualified to do that. You know, I have opinions, but I think that the one thing that I wanted to speak to is kind of where I got this title from, in that in so many of these videos, these men are talking about body count, and specifically body count for women, and how important it is for it to be low or even 0, and even though they don't follow the same standards at all. So, but that's, you know, that's neither here nor there. But anyways, I guess I just want to speak about it because there's just such a disconnect, I guess, because they say that that women need to have a low body count, possibly 0 at all, like just be virgins. And yet in reality, they expect you to sleep with them very early on, like very, very early on. Like even if you're not in a relationship, like even if you're just like you've gone on a couple dates or whatever, they actually expect that. And I don't know, just from my experience, like it's just such commonplace. Like I just so you know, I'm almost 28 years old, and I have never had, you know, that sort of like level of intimacy or anything. I haven't had that. I've just, I don't know, chosen to wait. I've been like intentional, like, I don't know, I've just been like intentional about it and stuff, because I started dating when I was 23, and you know, I'm almost 28, and you know, it's pretty common. It's very, you know, it's very, very common. Like it's an expectation to have sex with the person that you're talking to, or the person that you're dating and stuff. But it's like, how can they, you know, how can they say that women should have such a low body count while at the same time like expecting and pressuring women to sleep with them, you know, which would cause a body count to rack up, obviously. But and I also want to make sure it's just, you know, disclaimer that this video is not, I don't want anyone to ever think that I'm judging them, because I'm not. I genuinely believe everyone should be able to live how they want to and do what they want to with their life, you know. And if that's what you want to do with their bodies, it's their body, and they have every right to do that. And I don't have any sort of judgments or even really like, you know, that much of a like strong opinion about how other people should live. I know personally, I just have my reasons for why I have chosen to wait this long and why I haven't given it to anybody. But yeah, I just wanted to comment on this. So just this disconnect, and Fresh and Fit, oh, they bother me so much. But anyway, so basically I have had 2 official boyfriends. I've been on, you know, lots of dates and stuff over the last few years since I started dating, and I've had 2 boyfriends. I'd say one, like the first one, I started dating him when I was 23, and he dumped me because I wouldn't sleep with him. You know, I think we only dated for like 2 months, and he dumped me because I wouldn't sleep with him. The second relationship was actually, you know, was more recent, and he ended things because of cultural differences, I guess. So he was really into the Manosphere world, really loves Andrew Tate, and he would, you know, he would tell me how much that he respected, you know, that he respected my decision to wait, and he would go on all these rants about like the Manosphere and stuff. I was like, but he would talk about how he will only date a virgin. I mean, he'll only marry a virgin, and he'll like only be with a virgin and stuff like that. And he claimed that that's what he wanted and that's what he was going to have. And yet he would constantly pressure me to sleep with him. And I'm like, I'd ask him like, kind of like what I was talking about before. Don't you see, like, you're good at math. He was studying like engineering or something like that. It's like, don't you see how like if I sleep with you, I will get a body count, and you guys in your Manosphere minds shame women so much for having one, which is so I don't agree with it at all. But so I'm just trying to like get into, I don't know, just trying to like get into his mind. Like, does that like, that doesn't, there's just such a disconnect. It just doesn't make sense, you know? It doesn't make sense at all. So, yeah, they care so much about like a woman's past or whatever, but if you don't give them what they want, which is sex, you know, like a lot of men want, if you don't give that to them, and like really soon, like really early on in the talking stages, they're gone. I cannot tell you how many times I've been ghosted. Obviously, I just told you I've been broken up with 2 times. One of them was specifically like because I would not sleep with him. And then the second time was, you know, I genuinely don't think that he broke up with me because I wouldn't sleep with him, but he would pressure me all the time and everything. So anyways, so yeah, with him, I also remember, yeah, just us having that conversation and just explaining to him like how I've waited so long, like at this point, like I've waited so long, like I'm almost 28 years old. And so like, I want to make sure that I give it to someone who loves me, if that makes sense. Like that's what I want to do. And again, if there's anybody watching this, I don't even know if anybody's gonna watch this video, but if there's anybody who's watching this who did, you know, who did have, you know, intimate relations with someone who didn't love them, that's like, I'm not saying anything badly about that. I just know, like, personally for me, I just know that, I don't know, with my, I don't know, just my convictions and stuff, I would just feel, I just know how I would feel. So what do they say? They say that self-control is empathy for your future self. So I have self-control. I choose to have self-control and to not give into temptations that obviously I'm a healthy young woman, you know, I am tempted and I get tempted, but I have, you know, I practice self-control, and I just don't do it because I just know how I feel at the end, you know, afterwards if I do give it to somebody who doesn't really love me. And, you know, I consider love to really be like caring so much about somebody that you would actually take a bullet from them. Like, not just, you know, a lot of people talk and say that, what did 21 Pilots say? Like a bullet, you know, I take a bullet for him, a bullet for you, a bullet for everybody in this room, but I don't seem to see many bullets coming through. Not like just like empty cheap talk or whatever, but like actually to be loved so much that like he would take a bullet for me, you know what I mean? And vice versa. That's honestly what I'm waiting for. So, yeah. So, I guess, yeah, I say all this to say, yeah, these men in the manosphere and the comment section stuff too, they're all like, the comments say how like, oh, like be with a virgin or be with someone with a low body count and blah, 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 but it's just like not reality. It's just like, it's so 99.999% of any man that I meet who either, you know, just like, you know, approaches me out and about, or maybe at the gym, or like, or online, even like apps like Hinge and stuff like that. Sex very, very soon is the expectation. So I've learned early on to, because I am like I have been like a hopeless romantic, I guess, you know, and And so I like start dreaming like really, really quickly. Usually, like when I meet somebody, I'm like, oh, thinking about the future and planning the future or whatever in my mind, even though I'm like, I don't tell them that, of course, you know, just keep it to myself or tell my best friend or whatever. But over the last few years, I've learned to tell like people, I've learned to tell guys like very early on. Sometimes literally like even like within like the first conversation, like literally as soon as they go up to talk to me, like to make sure that I tell them, which I feel like I shouldn't have to disclose that. Like it is like a private thing, you know, even though I'm like making a video about it on YouTube. But it's like something that, so basically, I don't know, what I think about is I was leaving the gym one day, a couple months ago, and this guy who he just left the gym too, he like came up to me in the parking lot and was, you know, kind of like trying to holler, I guess. And so we were talking and stuff for a bit, you know, and then somehow I genuinely don't even know how it got there, but he just like straight up asked me like, are you a virgin? And I'm not one to like really like lie, I guess, especially about, I don't know, something like that. I didn't feel like unsafe in the parking lot. I know that maybe it would have been wiser to be like, yeah, no, but I don't know. The conversation was like fine, and I was just kind of honest, like I don't really like, basically just straight up being like, you're not gonna get like, you're not gonna get anything from me, like I'm not, you know, because he was like, do you have a you have a boyfriend? And I was like, no, I kind of just like got a relationship or whatever. And he was like, were you looking for like friends, or are you looking for like, you just got X-rated. It just got X-rated like really quickly. And I was just, sometimes I just think like, wow, like what would the people in the 50s, well, in the 1950s, what would they say to like, you know, like just imagine a man in the 1950s coming up to a woman, complete stranger in the parking lot, and asking her that about such an intimate thing, you know. So that's not uncommon. I really have learned over time to just tell somebody like from the very beginning, like in the very beginning, because then they can, you know, they can do with that what they want, you know. So let's see, I was trying to see if there's anything else. So again, so I tell people straight up, like in the beginning, or even like the last like first date that I went on, I guess a few weeks ago, we had only been talking for like a few minutes, and somehow a conversation, I mean, I don't just like blurt it out all of a sudden. It just seems to come up in conversation, and I don't even try and hide it anymore. I just straight up just tell them like, yeah, I'm actually not, you know, I don't want to say protective, but you're not going to get that from me. So like, you know, don't expect that, whatever. And the guy, he was like, oh, wow. Like, I don't know. He was like, oh, I don't know. He was like, I really respect that, you know? I really respect that. And, you know, that's cool that like you care about your body, and, you know, and you don't just, you know, let anybody access, you know, your body and stuff like that. Again, zero judgments if you do. And so I was like, oh, okay. So, and I was like, cause I was like, hey, you can end the date right now. Like, cause we hadn't even gone to the restaurant, into the restaurant yet. We had to wait out there for like 45 minutes. And, before we could get a table. So like, we ended up talking about like all this stuff, and I was like, hey, the date kind of hasn't completely started yet. If you want to go now. Because again, like this isn't something you're gonna like break me about. Like men have tried to like break me over the years and really have seen it as a challenge, you know. And I'm like, I can't. It's just not gonna happen, you know. So like we had a good date and everything. It went well. It went really well. And then, yeah, I remember he was trying to get me to drink, and I didn't. Yeah, and I didn't, which was good. And then so he asked me on a second date. So we went on another date like a few days later, because that was a Saturday. And then we went on a date on Thursday night. You know, he was encouraging me to drink. So I was like, okay, I'm more comfortable with you. I'll have a drink with you now. And then, yeah, long story short, I'll save you the details. He had like he drove me to my car, you know, like there was like, you know, the parking lot, back of the other side of the parking lot, I guess. And he very much tried to bust the move. I'm not gonna go into details, but it was like, stop. Did you hear anything? Did you listen to me when I told you that, like, I'm not gonna do that with you? And like, it's been 2 dates, and I'm like, I'm not gonna, you know, get with you in your car, like in your Jeep, on the second date. And I like ran away. I wonder if I hope nobody was in the parking lot like watching that interaction, because I like ran, like grabbed my food because he bought me. It was like, oh, we went to like this good Caribbean spot or whatever. Like the food was really good, so I like make sure I like grabbed my purse and my leftovers, and I booked it out of there and drove away and never looked back. And I texted him like the next day, like, or I didn't text. He texted me that night like, oh, like travel safe, and I didn't respond. And then I didn't text him like the whole day the next day, and he was like, he texted me like, oh, so you don't like me anymore. And I was like, I didn't say that. I was just like, I really think that, I don't know. I really think that our differences are just gonna be too hard and stuff. And, you know, understandably, because the thing is, for people who don't have this, like, I guess, conviction about sex and stuff like that, I completely understand. I shouldn't completely understand, because obviously I'm a little, you know, not that experienced, but I know that intimacy is fun. It looks very fun, okay? Again, I am a healthy woman, okay? I choose to not do it, even if I'd like to, even when I'd like to. So I know it looks fun. So I don't knock anybody for doing that. Especially, you know, in like a loving relationship and stuff like that. It seems really beautiful. I know personally, I was raised in a Christian home, and even though things have transpired the last couple of years that would have to be, you know, not for another video if I did another video. So I haven't been to church in a couple of years, but this, you know, and I haven't like read my Bible in like a really long time, but I don't know. This temptation, I guess, as much as like over the years I've wanted to give in, and I beat myself up so many times. Like even after that, was it the first or second date? Because like I knew that he wanted that. I beat myself up all the times I've been ghosted and you know, told like, hey, things are not gonna work. You know, I beat myself up like, man, why can't I just do this? Like, why can't I just be like, it seems like everybody else? It seems like I'm not going to say everybody else, because, you know, there was, oh, well, everybody's doing it. Not everybody is doing it, you know. It's just rare. It's just hard to meet other people, I guess, who are in the same, like, I don't know, who live in this way that I do, and so it feels like everybody is doing it, and you know, I'm like, why can't I just do it and just be like everybody else? And I probably wouldn't even be single right now if I would just get it over with, you know, if I could just not think that it's so meaningful, you know, and like it has to be so like that, just seeing sex is meaningful. And, you know, I guess it just being, you know, I don't know, but I'm working on being proud of, you know, who I am. And not proud like in a judgy way, it looks down on anybody who chooses to live in a different way, but like just not beating myself up anymore or being angry at myself for holding on to this, like, I don't know, value or this conviction or whatever. Like, obviously I hope I don't have to wait too much longer. Like I'm almost 28, and I'm getting closer to 30, but honestly, yeah, I've waited so long, and that I can't just and won't just give it to somebody who, you know, the first like cute guy who's nice to me, you know what I mean? Like, I just want him to like love me, and yeah, want him to like love me and like really commit to me, if that makes sense. So anyway, so that's it. That was a really long video. If you made it this far, thank you. Yeah, I've just been seeing so many YouTube shorts and stuff, and I think that they were probably originally on TikTok or whatever. I don't have a TikTok, but I've seen so much like so many videos and discussions and stuff about this. I kind of just wanted to give my 2 cents, and just how, like, in conclusion, I strongly dislike the Manosphere for a lot of different reasons, and one of them being that they think that they're so much better than people. They think that they're so much better than, like, other people, and, like, so many of those men, let's just, like, look down on women and just treat women as less than, you know, for choosing to live, for living how they choose to live. And, you know, I just hope nothing but good for anyone who's watching this. And you know, if you are waiting, you know, if you want to wait, if you just see sex and intimacy as a really, like, valuable thing or whatever, just know that you're not alone. And it's not judgmental or anything to feel that way, and to choose to choose to wait, and to be self-disciplined and stuff. And I don't know, just know that, like, you're not alone, if that makes sense. So all right, thank you. And be kind to yourself. Okay, bye.